I talked to a dude that's asking me a question about how to deal with his woman and whatever complaints that he got. They get mad at me. They get mad at me because I'm always going to ask the question, first off, have you put your woman in survival mode? They get upset, y'all. This just happened. That's why I'm even thinking about it. I got my headphones on. I've been out here journaling, just chilling. Dude come up to me, you know, he recognized me or whatever. Hey man, I got a question for you. Why is it that a woman, soon as she get in a relationship, all of a sudden she fall off? She stop taking care of herself. She stop doing this, stop doing that. I did the exact same thing. Hey man, have you ever thought about whether or not she's in survival mode? What's that? Automatically, I knew that's exactly what it was. She was in survival mode. Put down in the chat if you've ever seen or experienced coming into a relationship one way, but based on how you were treated, based on how you were mistreated, mishandled for so long, despite you trying to make the relationship work, you weren't even the version of you that you came into the relationship as. You couldn't even show up the way that you had done beforehand. And some people say, oh, just leave. But if you're a fighter, you're not leaving that easy. You're going to try to fix, you're going to try to resolve conflict. But what happens a lot of times is a lot of y'all go into survival mode. And that's where a lot of men's complaints come from. It's not that anytime you do something wrong, it's a man's fault. No, but we are the leaders. And what I've noticed is a man can be inconsistent in a relationship. You know, he get what he wants, he get in a relationship, and then he fall off because a lot of times we're hunt-oriented, meaning once we get what we hunted for, now we're satisfied, now we're good, and we get fat and lazy. However, women a lot of times are the responsive agent. If you're a feminine woman, that's why you have men that can have sex and deal with a lot of women and remain the same them. Women, y'all have to be very careful about who you attach yourselves to. And a lot of women are, because you know whoever you deal with is going to have an impact on you. But back to what I was saying, a lot of guys that have complaints about women, a lot of y'all that are dealing with a complaining or criticizing man are dealing with a man who's really put you in survival mode. And that's the reason why things are going on the way that they are. I asked him, I said, hey man, she's in survival mode. I don't know what that is. I said, okay, first off, has she been saying that she's stressed out? Has she been saying that she's stressed out? Yeah, she's been saying that. But what that mean? That means that she's stretched thin. She's stressed out. She don't have the same energy. She's not comfortable. She's in a situation, maybe it's you, maybe it's her job or whatever, but on some level, she's in survival mode. And he was one of those whole, oh, I need a woman to be my peace type of guys. And I was like, bro, a woman cannot be your peace if you're not first her security. Before you ask a woman to be your peace, you have to first be her consistency. You have to first be her safety. You have to first be her certainty about where y'all are headed, right? A lot of times I think we want peace, but we're not willing to give that safety, that security, that assurance about where the relationship is headed. So when I asked him, I'm like, dog, like what have you done to kind of break that up? Have you asked her what questions she might have about where the relationship is going? Or if it's her energy being tapped from the job that she's in? Because if either of those situations are happening, either one, you got some answers to give, or two, you need to alleviate some of that workload that she has just from being in day-to-day going to the job that she's going to. You need to give her some off time. We hate that conversation. Men hate that conversation. Second thing I said, hey man, let me ask you another question. Has she been putting the same energy into herself? No, that's what I was saying. They'll be falling off when they get in a relationship. I was like, no, she ain't falling off when she got in a relationship. That woman is in survival mode. Just like when a ship get hit with something. Y'all ever seen those movies? Something go wrong on the ship, and then, you know, all the lights go off, and the only energy being used is being allocated to the most critical functions of the ship. That's what happens when a woman gets in survival mode. And unfortunately, the physical well-being or the physical upkeep ain't necessarily a critical function. A lot of women are mentally hanging on by a thread. And then whenever y'all get to hanging on by a thread, your hair don't get kept up the same. You don't really go to the gym the same. Your thoughts are exhausting you so much, you ain't even got enough energy to go to the gym, even if you wanted to. Even if that's what you love doing. Now, at this point, of course, he done basically got mad and, wanted to end the conversation, which is fine. But I'm going to tell you, just like I told him, if that woman ain't keeping up with herself, bro, like you ain't checked the box of whether or not it's because she in survival mode, more than likely she's fallen off because the love that she was being given in the beginning has fallen off. The attention, the care has fallen off. It ain't just that woman falling off. And I know she wasn't like that when you first got with her, because men, we don't date potential. Women date potential a lot of times. Men don't date potential. We date right what's in front of us. We don't got vision and intuition. We're not thinking about none of that. So let me give you another way to know if a woman is in survival mode, or ladies, maybe you in this situation right now. Do you find yourself suspicious of every little thing? If you find yourself suspicious of every little thing, and you didn't come in with those trust issues, one of a few things are happening here. I know. First off, there's been some type of issue that's taken place that's ruptured the trust and it never got healed. It never got resolved. 2, when you get triggered or when whatever happens that kind of makes it present all over again, he minimizes your feelings. 3, he minimizes your feelings. He invalidates your feelings. What makes you feel like he's not putting enough premium on your safety to begin with, and therefore now you got to be hyper vigilant. Now you got to watch out behind every corner and make sure you're not going to get hurt again, because clearly he's not taking the kind of care and consideration that's required in order to take care of that. And I see a lot of guys, again, I talk to them all the time, and I'm like, oh man, she always nagging me, always suspecting this, that, and the other. Yeah, but you skipping the part, man, wherever she wasn't even on that when y'all came into the relationship. And then she saw your phone. And then she came across something, and then a woman came to her as a woman. You skipping that part. Not to say nobody got to be perfect, but if you're going to speak on what has taken place with your woman's behavior, do not skip the part where you created that particular type of behavior as opposed to what she came in on. When it was just her and her singleness taking care of herself, she was a beautiful version of herself. She was like a beautiful flower, all the colors. Ever since dealing with you, she looked like she needs some water. So if that woman is constantly suspicious, and I'm not trying to come down, again, this is the time, fellas, to ask your woman, hey man, am I doing anything that's resembling or reminding you of what I once did, or maybe what you once went through? If you ain't checked that box, I don't want to hear nothing about you complaining about the suspicions of your woman. Another thing that I hear dudes say all the time, and they like to put it on a woman, oh yeah, she ain't sexual as she used to be. She used to do this, that, and the other, give me head no matter what. Bro, she might be in somebody. Matter of fact, let me ask you a question, because it's kind of like if you was at a funeral of your loved one. You in the parking lot. You just saw whatever that loved one is. You just buried them for the last time, saw them for the last time. Heart in shambles, grieving, can't think straight, ain't been sleeping right. And then your woman say, hey, babe, can you give me some head? That's exactly what we sound like whenever we try to initiate sex, when we ask for something sexual to a woman that we ain't been emotionally taken care of. That woman been grieving the version of you or the vision that she had for y'all when she first came into the relationship that's been dying out every day, or she been going without every day. She been grieving that version of her that she first came into the relationship as, and now you want her to be sexual. Of course she ain't sexual, man. She in survival mode. She barely hanging on. She's stressed, all kind of inflammation in the body. No, she's not horny, man. And there's no one size fits all way to address this, because a woman could have something biologically going on. It could be something relationally. But I would say this, if you have not first at least tried this, asking her what she needs in order to be an emotional overflow in the relationship. Emotional overflow, meaning she's getting her needs met so well, it just feels like, man, she on top of the world. She can't imagine it. It's almost too much for her to handle. If you have not put her in emotional overflow for at least a month straight, no momentum breaks, no nothing, no questions about your intentions, no nothing, you really don't have a basis to ask her for sex, or to expect sex, or to expect her to be even remotely sexual. That's my belief. Ladies, put I down in the chat if you've ever been in a situation where emotionally you were in a deficit. Damn the overflow. You were in a deficit. You were behind. And a man wanted sex from you, but it was a struggle, or if you actually was able to rise to the occasion, you felt like a piece of meat afterwards. Put I down in the chat, because maybe I'm just talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just lying. But a lot of times when guys have these complaints about a woman, oh, she ain't doing what she used to do. Man, look, you ain't doing what you used to do either. You ain't taking her on dates either. You ain't getting her flowers either. You're not giving her compliments either. You're not noticing all the good stuff about her and acknowledging that on a regular basis as words of affirmation either. You're not making all the time necessary to spend with her either. Now that she's yours, all of a sudden you got this grind that puts her on the back burner, puts her last on the priority list. Yeah, you ain't doing that either. So she's in survival mode. And last one, and this is one that I know hurts a lot of guys, because boy, it's the next thing closest. It's the next closest thing to it just being over. But that's when a woman is mentally checked out. And for those who don't know what that is either, that's essentially when a woman has relieved you of your duties of meeting any of her emotional needs, fellas. That's the best way I can put it. When your woman is emotionally checked out, you are hereby fired. You just ain't got kicked out the building yet. So she might still be in a relationship. She's still trying to figure out either the living situation Or maybe she's trying to come to grips with the fact that she's numb. She ain't even fully accepted that she's numb. So she might still be hanging around. And I'm not saying this right. I'm just giving you the truth. But your woman is mentally checked out. In this survival mode, it's kind of like a withdrawal. It's like, all right, all attention, all energy now has to be retracted from that person that I was invested in. And I have to put that back into myself. So now you can't even get her angry or make her happy. You can't turn her on. You really can't even turn her off. She's just not available. It's like you trying to get into the doors of the job you used to work at and the doors is closed. That's what it's like when a woman is mentally checked out. So survival mode, I don't even know if it's just survival mode. Honestly, you at the unemployment office at that point. And I'm laughing, but I know it ain't nothing funny. Because there is a way that you can, I believe, get a woman to mentally check back in, but it's only with her consent. And the chances are so low at that point because if she's mentally checked out, more than likely she stayed mentally checked in too long. More than likely being mentally checked in was traumatizing for her. So when a woman is mentally checked out, ladies, y'all let me know down in the comments if what I'm saying is facts. There's a very small to nothing chance you're going to get her back in. The only way, if she's still, is if you gain back her respect. If you don't gain back her respect, you're a clown in her eyes. Only way is for you to do consistently the respectful things, the respecting things that you were doing in the very beginning, consistently enough for you to rebuild an entirely new identity that she can respect again. And then she still has to open that door again for you to come back in. But it's a very small chance. Because what likely happened up until this point is that she felt like the clown for continuing to believe in you, for continuing to invest in you, for continuing to keep that door open to maybe change behavior, or maybe you'll come out of that season, or maybe you'll come out of that phase, or whatever it is that you were blaming on why you wasn't showing up the way that you were supposed to be showing. And here's what I see from women that either don't leave because they're mentally checked out, or they keep investing, or whatever the case may be, or they just try to fix a man until there's nothing left of them. A lot of women end up being that man's stepping stool for the next woman. A lot of women end up being that man's basic training for the next woman. So you have a lot of women these days who would just rather go into protective mode and shut down before they physically leave. And the only reason why they're doing that is because they're still trying to figure out and accept that they have shut down on you, because some women just have that fighter in them where they're just not going to give up that easily, even if they should, even if it makes sense. But a lot of women are choosing that over continuing to fight and fix and give chances that aren't deserved to a man who's proven that he's not worthy of them, because the alternative is preparing that man for another woman, or what I call being a man's internship. And I went in depth on that, so I'm not going to go too in depth here, but I did a free masterclass on that where I went step by step on how to identify if a man is even trying to make you his internship. If you have not gotten access to that free masterclass yet, make sure you go and register now before that link comes down, before it expires at the link. If you see it pinned right here, down in the comments or in the caption when you back out, click that link now before we even finish, because I don't want you to miss it, and get access to that free masterclass, how to stop being a man's internship. But moral of the story is this. Fellas, I say this with love. If that woman is not being who she used to be when you first got with her, you don't need to check her first. I'm not saying you don't need to check her at all. You don't need to check her first. The first thing you need to do is check the environment you created for her. Check the version of her that you created, the result of your actions, the result of her being vulnerable and opening herself up to you, and what that's brought out of her. Check that first. She cannot submit to you if she's in survival mode. She cannot be your peace if you have not put her at peace. She cannot be sexual with you if you have not given her overflow in the emotional department. She can't do it. She cannot put energy into herself if you're inconsistent or non-existent in the energy that you're putting into the relationship, i.e. putting into her as well. And if she's mentally checked out and she's fed up, brother, it probably ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. So it's best that you not even let it get that far. But those are just my thoughts. I'm the internet brother trying to look out for you. If you got something of value from this conversation, keep your money. I don't want it. But what I do want you to do is pay it forward to somebody else in your timeline, your friend, your family member that could also get value from this. Don't be selfish. Again, keep your money. I'm good on that. I'm good. But what I do want you to do is bless somebody else on your timeline the same way you got blessed by hitting that little share button over in the corner. And if you have not yet, get access to my free masterclass, How to Stop Being a Man's Internship, where I give you the strategies to avoid that. I simplified it, and how to be the woman that a man knows he has to come prepared for, instead of the woman that just prepares a man for the next one. Again, that's absolutely free. That link right here that's pinned in the comments, also in the caption when you back out, that'll take you over to that masterclass if there's still time. So you might want to hurry.